welcome everyone to Conversations with Karen. I am the founder of Immunocologie, and I am today speaking with Melissa Lorenzo-Hervé. And I'm so excited to have her with us today because she is very much, I call the fashion guru of sustainability, and for women to be able to take a dress and be able to use it from day to night and know that the fabric is so luscious. I say that to her because when I felt the cloth, the fashion, put it together, I thought, oh my goodness, we're so much in line because the fabric feels so good.
Yes.
And then I said, it's like my skincare products. Immunocologie feels so good. So that's our beginning of our conversation today with Melissa, and I'm so excited to welcome you here to Conversations with Karen. So, Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
I want to say that it was really wonderful meeting you for the first time through this COVID, right? We haven't had a chance to meet in person, but we feel like we've been friends for a very long time.
Yes.
And I wanted to share with the audience, you know, sometimes it's really very different when two people come together and you get to meet each other through husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our journey, right?
Right. It's an odd one. Yeah.
Who would have thought? Usually guys don't talk, and guys usually say, hey, let's do dinner, and that's how you meet, but you don't end up having an opportunity like what has happened for us to come together and actually have a quick conversation. Or let's put it this way, we thought it was going to be a quick conversation, but it turned out to be, I think we talked for about an hour and a half.
Right.
Something like that. So that was so much fun. But I am so thrilled to have you here and talking with me today. So I thank you for sharing your story with us today, because I think it's a fabulous one.
Thank you.
So first of all, I want you to sort of tell us your story. You know, you have so much to say about this that I think I would love for the audience to know how this really came to be, how someone who's been in the corporate world and a writer came to be a fashion designer and a stylist in a way of working and helping other women. So
sure.
Share that.
So it's a bit of an odd backstory because I don't come formally from fashion. I grew up, I guess, absorbing a lot of fashion, and with my grandmother sewing for me and for my sister and my cousin, and surrounded with fashion magazines and McCall patterns, but never having a chance to properly study it. Having gone into law and having come from a family that was very career focused, my introduction to fashion was really out of more of a practical sense and an adoration sense. I always saw it as an art form. And so once I was working at a law firm and then later having gone into legal publishing, it was really striking to see how much time women wasted getting dressed to get out the door in the morning, figuring out what to wear to, let's say, a board meeting or a client meeting or a deposition or a trial. It was just really time consuming in a way that wasn't equal with what men were going through. Men were just putting on a suit as they've always done, and women were struggling with figuring out what to wear after work or to wear to the closing dinner or to wear to anything that maybe wasn't planned for. And because I'm very petite, I'm only 5 feet tall, I had an extra layer of a challenge. Everything I bought pretty much would have to be tailored. And so I learned a lot about fashion that way, and figuring out where to place the darts and what sort of hem is appropriate for work, and what looks good for certain shapes. And so that was really my, I guess, baptism by fire, having to figure things out on my own, not having a ton of resources, working too much to spend much time at stores or online even. And so I've always been very solution oriented, and I just wanted to solve this problem first for petite women, but then I just realized it's something that all women should have, and that's a go-to dress, a dress that works any time of day or night, a dress that is not based on one specific trend or fad. I wanted to just have a few pieces that were classic, that women can wear, at any age, regardless of your size, of your shape, and to make these dresses from fabrics that wouldn't pill, that could be dry cleaned or even washed in the machine and hung to dry several times without looking like you had even worn them once. And so that's why I started with the fabric. Much how immunocology started with your initial ingredients from the French clay, I started very, very early on with the fabric before I even had the original template done for the first dress. And that was extremely time consuming also, because once you start looking at fabrics, you can get a bit overwhelmed with the choice. But if you're focused on the quality of the fabric, you can only look at grade 4 and 5, and that's where you're going to find the fabrics that don't pill, that have the right amount of stretch, and that you can wear multiple times without having any evidence of the amount of time you've worn them in the dress.
So the outfit that you have on now in the mannequin, right?
Yes.
Absolutely gorgeous. Can I just say the immunocology colors? I absolutely love it. Love being on brand. And I noticed that is that a top? Is it a skirt and a top?
Right. So it is a top. I can show you on the mannequin more easily than I can on myself. But it's a top made of Korean silk. We commissioned an artist who is an amazing painter. She's in Brooklyn, and she actually painted this design with her amazing brush strokes. And then we had it printed on the silk in Korea. And then we had this top also made in a few regular Pantone colors, but it's a top that serves the function of, well, in the first case, it floats on the body, so it creates the illusion of a smaller waist. But once you remove this top, it has a very long zipper in the back. A lot of times women have to ask someone to zip them up, and I didn't want that. I know women are in the bathroom afterward getting ready. And so once you remove the top, you have under the perfect little black dress that you can wear anywhere. You can wear out to date night. Sometimes you're at a conference, you can wear the silk top with the blazer and not have the sleeves bunch up. It just looks really formal and elegant. And then it has a back that goes deep enough to rest right above where the bra strap starts. And then it has, I don't know if I can show you, but it has an invisible zipper just above the left knee. I guess I would have to put the laptop a little bit back so that during the day, oh, you still can't see it. You'll have to trust me. There's an invisible zipper above the knee that then you could open up to create a little slit so that there's a flash of skin at night if you like. It just takes the dress in a different direction, and it gives you that mobility to go from desk to date or to go from work to after work without having to change into a whole new outfit.
Wow, what a thought process that you went through with that, because first of all, you took a passion and turned it into a reality.
Yes.
But you still have a day job going on. So how did you do that? How did you get this started? Because this is just, gorgeous, because I have your dress on and I am loving it. I love the feeling of it. I love the style of it. And look at this collar. Look how well it stays up.
Right. It stays up because of the way the fabric is woven. It's not just the fabric, because the fabric is 100% Italian cotton, but it's not just that it's cotton. It's the way that the fabric is woven. It gives it a certain heft. And that's why the collar stays up. And that's why the A-line rests a certain way. And that's why we could get away with pockets in the dress you're wearing. The pockets are made of silk, so they don't create any bulk against the body. And yet you don't really see them until you put your hands in them, because they're sewn into the seam of the side of the dress.
It's beautiful. I just love it. I've gotten so many compliments when I've worn this
good.
dress. So you'll see it on me along a lot of times. So stay tuned.
Good.
I have to get some more of your outfits, because they really travel well too.
Yes.
Not that I've worn anywhere, but I can just tell by the way, they traveled from in the box and were shipped to me. They traveled so well.
Yeah, and they're very wrinkle resistant. That's the other thing. When you go with a high grade fabric, it's going to resist wrinkles, and you can even wear it if you need to wear it twice. For example, some women will say, well, when I travel, I want to be able to wear it 2 different ways, 2 days in a row if I'm at a sales conference or if I'm at a legal conference. So here you could switch the top, for example, and then that way you get 2 outfits and you can pack lightly.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it does remind me here of, which is why I love this in our conversation, because immunocology has it sort of that same thing. You use your clay mask, and you can turn that clay mask into a scrub. It can be also used for a body scrub. It could also be used as a hair mask. So you have many different ways to use it.
Right.
It reminds me, and that's, I think, what got me so excited about being able to really share with you and share with the audience how what you're doing sustainable wise, because you don't have to pack as much. You can mix and match and create different outfits. Same thing with skincare. So I feel like we're a match made in heaven here.
Yes. We have to thank our husbands for bringing us together.
Exactly. So tell me, how did you actually get the start in your business? Because, having the vision of it, but how do you actually jump off, I say, the cliff and go do it? Because that's a question a lot of women, they think about, but they...
Yeah, we all have ideas. Yeah, we all have these $1 million ideas, and then it's just the execution that requires so much work that's why these ideas never get anywhere. I think a lot of it had to do with physically being in Manhattan. I don't think I could have gotten away with as much as I was able to get away with if I was not 5 days a week for, about 10 hours a day, located in Manhattan, working on the East Side, taking the 7 train across to get to the garment district during my lunch hour, literally running to the train so that I could get to these meetings with textile reps and with the sample makers and with the production manager and with the button guy at a certain time, so I could figure out what fabric, what buttons, what's the template, what does the sample look like, and then making it back to work at a certain time so I could be at my desk.
It's a lot, right?
Thank God for Google and getting in touch with different people and talking to people about this idea, because I had the idea, of course, inside me for a while, but there's a lot of resistance, I think, mentally. I wouldn't say that women only have, but some of us have, especially first generation Americans, when you have a certain career and there was so much sacrifice on the part of your parents, to help you get into law school or to help you have a certain career path. And then in a way to say, well, I'm rejecting that, at least partially, and I'm doing this other thing. I'm doing this artistic or this creative thing, this really unstable thing that I have no idea where it's going to go, but I'm going to pursue it anyway. Yeah. And so it was sort of a leap that I had to just say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to try it, and I need to at least get early confirmation. And so once I had that template, once I had that sample that I could have a lot of women try on and give me feedback on, that's where I really knew, okay, I have something here. Women want this, they need this, they wish they had this exact dress in their size. And so it was little by little and talking to more people about it who were then connecting me to other people. And one day I was at my law school reunion and one of my friends said, you have to meet my friend. She's a production manager. She's in New York. She works with startups. She's in love with founders and emerging brands, and that's what she wants to do. So once I started working with her, that's how I was able to secure meetings with these Italian and Japanese and Korean textile reps. Wow. Who I had no business emailing or calling because they have no idea who I am and they're used to dealing with bigger brands and with larger productions. In many cases, I couldn't even meet the minimums that some of the factories required before they even accept your fabric. So it was really through connections and friends and getting the word out there that I was in need of these people and having very limited time to do all that. Because at the same time I'm working full time, I'm also having to pick up my daughter from school and then pick up my son from the nanny and, get dinner ready. And
ladies out there, you have to know that you can do it. Listen to
you her. Can do it. Yeah, you can do it. And there's an easier way to do it now. Even a couple of years ago, the barriers to entry, you can, get a website, you can do social media marketing. There's so much you can do now without having to hire the amount of people you used to have to hire a few years ago, I think. So it's just a matter of saying you're going to do it and you're going to just build one step on top of the other. One entrepreneur told me, just follow the crumbs, the crumbs that will lead you to the next step and the next step, and not letting fear or fatigue get in the way.
Well, I think that's great advice, but I also have to say that one thing you did, which is put it out to the universe. Yeah. I am a very big believer that if you put it out to the universe and people start to hear it, things change, things come to you, people tell you about, just like your friend said, you need to meet this friend.
Right.
It's when you keep it inside,
yeah,
you don't talk about it, the frustration is so built up,
right,
that I hate to use the word regret, but a lot of people fall in that category. Well, I wish I had done that. I had that idea, but I could have done that. I had a father who, my father was like that. Oh, I had this idea. I could have done that. Dad, why didn't you do it? Right.
Right.
And women fall in that same category.
Right.
So I love being able to inspire others, doing something that they have in their heart, and they
Right.
start to put it out there,
Right.
and then the crumbs start to happen because the universe brings it to you what
Right.
you need and to
Yeah.
fulfill that. So
Yeah.
that's
And
amazing.
it sounds easy. It sounds easy to just tell someone, well, just put it out there. Well, just tell your friends. But there's a certain fear of rejection. There's a fear of failure. I think there's also a fear of success, right?
Yeah.
Where we say, well, what if this goes somewhere? Then what's going to happen? Then how will my life change? And so since we can't see 10 steps out, it sort of makes us hold back and maybe not share the idea we have for a fashion line or a new book or a new invention. And
But
I think the more encouragement we have,
and
the more
it
we'll
happens
feel
all at the right time, I find.
right.
Right? I mean, and with immunocology, I had always had that vision that one day I would put a brand together. I had no idea when it would ever fall into place, and I had no idea that it was going to fall in place after being sick. I had no vision of ever being fully back into the business after being sick. Because of being so sick, I thought, how do I ever get the energy? And staying healthy was, not getting myself stressed out on things and so forth. But I had that mental capacity to say, I have to do this, and putting it out there. So I love that. I love the fact that you were, even as busy as you were, and the kids, I could just feel it, like, but you did it. And how did you ever come up with the name Pirouette? I love the name Pirouette. I have this right here because I wanted to show everyone.
Oh, that's so great. You kept it. When I was coming up with those hang tags, I said, well, the hang tag also has to serve another purpose. Everything we do has to serve more than one purpose. The hang tag has to be big enough to be a bookmark. And so that's why it's the size that.
And as you notice, I haven't thrown it away, nor have I thrown the tag.
Oh, that's right. And the ribbon, I said the ribbon has to be just as pretty as a ribbon I would put in my daughter's hair. So the Pirouette name was something I actually didn't give too much thought to. Maybe if I had given more thought to it or worked with a branding agency, we would have come up with something that more people know how to spell. But it was really because I grew up dancing. My mom always made sure my sister and I were in ballet class and tap dance and jazz. And so it was just a very normal part of our lives. I think that was one of my early introductions to French was hearing all the words that you learn in ballet for the different moves. As I got older and my daughter started dancing ballet, I just thought of how women are wearing so many hats in one day, and we're sort of pressured to do everything very gracefully and stylishly. We're supposed to be constantly going from one thing to the next. And when you see a ballerina execute a proper pirouette, right, it's a symbol of strength and beauty. And that's what I wanted the brand to be. I wanted it to be strength and beauty. I wanted it to be something that was graceful and at the same time powerful. And so that's why I thought of Pirouette as a way to encapsulate all of that in just one word.
Well, I think you did a great job with that. One of the reasons I thought is I was picturing you one night dancing with your husband, and you're on the dance floor and you were just spinning around and you said, I've got it. I'm pirouetting. And that's a great name.
That's a much better story, because we actually met dancing. We did meet on a dance floor, but that's so funny that you mentioned that. No, I don't have something that sexy. It was just really thinking about ballet and women and the pressure of having to go from one thing to the next. Yeah.
Well, I also have to tell you that when I put the dress on in the way that it has sort of this flare to it, it just fits so perfectly, but I was sort of spinning and I thought, this is why. So I had I was coming up with all these reasons why, but I thought, you know what? I have to ask her how she came up with it, because I was coming up with different ways that you came up with it.
That's great. I'm glad it works for different scenarios.
Well, I think actually that's part of what happens with the name is how people resonate with the name and it brings them back. So I think branding company and no branding company, I think you did a great job. I think it says it so nicely, and especially with your fabrics and the way the dresses, just feel.
Great.
I want to know, what's your favorite in the collection?
I I actually think it's the one I'm wearing. It used to be my template, the first one I came out with, which is basically the dress you're wearing, but with a pencil skirt because it has the vent in the back and it just creates this beautiful line. But it's become this one because of the multi-purpose function where I can just take off the top. Yeah, the versatility. I've seen now how other stylists will wear it. Some will actually wear the top by itself with skinny jeans or with a high-waisted black leather skirt. I never thought of that when I was designing the dress. I thought this was the only way you could wear it. But I love that you could wear something, especially with a black blazer, go to a meeting, feel really confident, feel feminine, and then just get rid of the top and you're ready to go out. You can meet someone at a bar, you can meet someone at dinner, and you don't feel like you look like you just came from the office.
Yeah. Well,
and also because it's so stretchy.
I have to tell you, I had leggings on before. So what I did is I just made the dress. I can show you a little bit, but it kind of like just kept it open. So I had my leggings on, and it's like an overdress. So,
I've seen a couple women wear that here around Boston. One was wearing it as a duster, but in the print. And one woman in Boston wore it just like that. I think she also had, I don't know if it was leggings under or leather leggings, but it was sort of like a way to have a more stylish, like fashion forward version with the A-line.
Yeah, if I wasn't wanting it to be a dress, but a little more in that sense. This is so classic, which I love.
Yes.
I love my pearls. But just to kind of give it a little more of that, what we call trendy.
Right.
This is a style that never goes out of style. To me,
exactly.
This is a dress that I could take anywhere, to any meeting, to any kind of after dinner, dress it up a little bit, bring some different jewelry and make it something else. So I feel like this is like a perfect travel dress for me. And so if you happen to see it different ways on any of my conversations with Karen, you'll just know I dressed it up a little bit differently.
There you go.
So tell me also about your sustainability. Tell me more about that side. I know a lot of people are very interested in knowing, what is your sort of, I call the mission, but what's your feeling when you look at the fabric, and one, you're very versatile, so that in itself is a sustainable way. But is there any other part of your business that you have applied sustainability to?
Well, the production, and once I started working with this production manager who started her career at The Gap and has worked with so many major brands, I was able to learn from her what sustainability really means in terms of carbon footprint, environmental impact. That's what we hear about, and that's what more people are conscious about. But another part of sustainability comes from the actual people working on the dress. Who are they? What are they getting paid? What is their work environment like? And since she had worked with so many factories in Asia, even in West Africa, and she knew about the conditions that some of these people end up working with, that highlighted for me yet one more, I guess, measure of importance. I wanted to make sure that whoever I was working with was happy working where they were working. Were they getting a proper lunch break? Was there enough light? Did they have enough access to air? What were the physical conditions of the space? And so I was already pretty obsessed with quality control. I knew that I had to inspect the buttons, the placket, the pockets. So that already restricted geographically where the dresses were going to be made. And so it was great to be able to produce in the garment district and know that these people I'm visiting are working in these conditions that I would recommend anybody else work with, right? Once we hear about what has happened in India, what has happened with child labor, we just know the consumer is going to be concerned with whatever she's wearing. How was it made? Not just how far did it have to travel to get here, but whose hands actually sewed those pockets, right? So once we're thinking about these people, it just makes you ensure that that part is taken care of. You don't have to worry about that part if you're wearing a pirouette dress. The women and men who worked on these dresses are in Brooklyn and Manhattan.
That is amazing. I mean, I think for all the women and men who are listening to this, I think that's a really key point, bringing business back to America. I mean, that is you're just not hearing that as much, right? I mean, you're going to hear it more, but you've been doing it before COVID. You already had that in place.
Right.
So to me, I mean, that speaks so loud and clear about who you are, and
Oh, thank
having
you.
that integrity to say, yes, I could go over there and get it less expensive.
Right.
But that part, to be able to bring that, I mean, that just gives me just such incredible feelings. It just makes me I want to just say, take it to the level where I want all of your clothes. I want
You can have them. We have your size.
support you in every way I can.
Oh, thank you.
It really means a lot, and I think that's one of the things that we have in common, because
Right.
I think it's that sustainability, how people are choosing their ingredients for brands,
Right.
really is an amazing. I mean, there's just so much about formulations and skincare and where
Right.
those ingredients come from.
Right.
And so for you, where those products are being made,
Right.
those sewers, you go to those factories. Same
Right.
for myself, although some of our products are made in France, and our ingredients though come from Africa and the rainforest in India. But our botanist, he's an ethnobotanist, actually goes there, has these facilities, very small little camps, works with the women there, brings back pictures for me so I can see them, and is in tune with the community there, giving back. I mean, I wish I could say that we make desert date trees in New England, but we don't. So
No, you can't, right?
right.
Well, that's the sad thing, that the more I looked into manufacturing in the US, the more I realized what little choice we have. Any sort of manufacturing in the US has just been decimated by so many big companies just obsessed with lowering that price, even if it just means lowering it by a few cents, which at the end of the day doesn't necessarily mean the consumer got a better price. Maybe their margin was just that much bigger because they were able to pay the people less in India or in Africa or in Asia or in Mexico. And so I knew there was a consumer out there who was okay with paying more for better quality and paying more for ethical manufacturing. And that's who I wanted to talk to. That's who I wanted to bring in. And that's who I want to make sure is aware of my website and my social media, so that they don't feel that they're stuck with the fast fashion or the poorly produced pieces at the bigger fashion stores. You're stuck in some cases. You cannot buy a TV made in the US, right? You basically have to accept that. But you can buy certain type of clothing, certain type of shoes, certain type of skincare, certain type of foods that even if they're not made in the US, there's a very clear supply chain. There's a very short manufacturing line where you can say, okay, the company's based in the US, the manufacturing is in Guatemala, but I'm seeing the people and I know how they're being treated, and I can trust that what I'm wearing is made of a certain quality.
Well, that's a very good point, knowing that. I mean, one of the things with our products being made in France, we also have some of them made in the US, but for myself, that's something my hands are on, because I'm over in the lab in France, or I'm in the lab here in the US, working with the chemist and making sure and ensuring that the products are being made properly, and all of the quality control parts of it, and working with a good facility is a very key part of I call the ethical side of our business, and not just going anywhere, but making sure that the people that you're working with really have and are aligned with your beliefs as well.
That's the number one thing. Someone told me very, very early on, she used to design for, I think, Macy's men's line.
Yeah.
And then another menswear brand, she told me, before I had anything at all, except a sketch on a piece of paper, she told me, everyone you hire, everyone you work with, make sure they're aligned with your interests, that they want to see your vision go far. They're not just there to collect the paycheck and work with you once. Try to find those people that believe in your mission, that are going to stick with you along the way. And those are the ones that are aligned with your ultimate goals.
That's beautiful. And, that's why, again, I go back to why I feel so aligned with you and what you're doing, and look forward to so many more days ahead of what we can do together.
Yes.
And, I always say fashion and beauty always comes together, right? Because
of course,
you don't have one without the other. And you'll find organizations, they always will say fashion and beauty group or fashion and beauty, shows and so forth. And so being aligned with a wonderful American-made fashion, who's so, I want to say fashionable, trendy, but at the same time
thanks.
classic.
Thank you.
If our husbands didn't put us together, it might not have happened. So it was meant to be. It was definitely meant to be. I want to know from you, now that you've had a chance to try immunocology, and I'm not sure if you got we had a little special package coming to you, so I'm not sure.
Not yet. I'm waiting. I have all the windows open today because it's so sunny out, so I'll hear as soon as there's a delivery.
So it should be any moment. But out of what you've tried so far, is there a product that you can say that is I always hate to say to the children, anyone's a favorite, right?
Right.
But what are you finding is your favorite so far?
Well, I'm loving the cleansers because, like you said, they feel good. They don't feel like I'm stripping my skin, yet they make my skin feel healthy and happy when I'm done with them, and I don't feel like I need to use a ton. But I have to say,
gorgeous, by the way.
What's that? Oh, thank you so much. I think it's getting better the more I use the products together. I guess they talk to each other and they just make the skin figure out, okay, this is what we're doing now. But my favorite, I have to say, that's why I brought it down, is the mist, because I can put it on anytime. It doesn't take more than just a second to spray it. But what I love is that it's doing something nothing else is doing, and that's protecting my skin. Whether I'm at home or I'm out or I'm going maybe really quickly to the supermarket, I know that because I've added these minerals to my skin, it's sort of like when I put on sunscreen, I know I'm protecting myself from the sun, but here I know I'm protecting myself from free radicals and certain bacteria and germs that are out there. The mask can only do so much. So I feel like, okay, once I put this on, I'm at least doing something that's protecting my skin, not treating certain, like, let's say a blemish or discoloration, which I have to do with harsher products. At least here, I have a simple, really comfortable way to quickly protect my skin.
Well, that's really great to know because, one of the things, as you were mentioning about the free radicals, and it inhibits from any bacteria or viruses that might attack the skin. And the big thing too is that your skin is getting hydrated at the same time because of the clay fusion of that water that imploding onto your skin. So you have sort of double duty. It's that versatility of our skincare as well.
Right. Well, that's the thing, the hydrating part, some people might think it's only for if you have dry skin, but what helps, for example, I have oily skin, when the skin's feeling hydrated, then it knows I'm not going to overproduce. I don't need to produce more oil, which is what oily skin is triggered to do when it feels dry.
That's so good. I'm so happy to hear that. Because it's fragrance-free and dye-free, it's just clay water, and it's so safe for everyone. So anyone who has any kind of skin issues, one of the big things too, which you probably notice, it does take down inflammation. So it cools and soothes the skin. Because of that clay, it takes the heat out of skin. So it also cools the skin down. So, which is so nice. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear that because I know right now is a very important time to be protecting our skin from the outside environment. And we're inside a lot. So because of that, our skin also gets dry and dehydrated. Transdermal water loss is a big thing with skin right now because of our environments that we're in. But I want to know this question. So what is next for Pirouette?
That's what I'm so excited about. New production. This is what I've had to hold off on for a while, especially during the pandemic. All the factories shut down. Women also stopped shopping for a while. So I had to focus on marketing and selling the merchandise I did have. Thankfully, last month went really well. And so what's next is getting back into production. I already have the fabric, I have the design, so I just can't wait to get the next samples made and start working with these factories again to put new, great, beautiful new dresses on the website and help those women who've already shopped from us have more pieces that they can incorporate into their wardrobe and feel like they have different versions of the dresses that they already have and love.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. what if in that regards to your new collection, is that something where you bring in designers for that, or do you do all the designs?
Everything. I do everything. I'll work with sample makers, and that helps a lot because I don't have the vocabulary in many cases. I'll say, well, I want it to do this, or I want the zipper to do this. And then they'll give me these technical terms, and they'll also create the tech packs and the patterns.
Yeah.
So I'm basically giving them sketches, and I'm draping on a mannequin like this on a dress form. So I'm showing them physically how it's going to ultimately look. And then that's how they're able to translate what I'm saying to the people who are actually sewing. And then they're saying, well, then that means the seam has to do this, or that means that the invisible zipper has to be connected this way. And so it's basically at the end a team effort, but I'm explaining how it's going to look on the body, and then they're explaining how it's going to be sewn and actually laid out for the markers on the fabric.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, as we're wrapping up here today, I can't tell you, this is just so amazing. And if I were to ask you, I always love to sort of end with, these are my little surprise questions.
Okay.
So one is, what book are you reading right now? Or do you have a favorite book?
Do I have a favorite book?
You probably don't have much time to read.
One of my favorite books is White Teeth by Zadie Smith. It's the only book I've ever wanted to read again. Normally when I finish a book, I'm so invested that I'm done with that. And lately I've been absorbed with so many podcasts that I haven't been reading a lot of books lately. But the books that I listen to now, that's what I do in the shower when I'm folding laundry, is a book, I think his name is Donald Miller, called Brand Story. And so that's helped me a lot to figure out how to communicate the message of the brand and just how to be more persuasive when I'm talking about our dresses in general, to connect it to the story. There's an emotional impact there. And so that's the book that I've been basically diving into lately, and actually rereading. By rereading, I mean re-listening to certain chapters.
Yeah. It's called Brand Share?
Brand Story.
Brand Story, okay.
Brand Story, yeah.
Good to know that. What's your favorite food?
Popcorn. I'm embarrassed to say. All kinds of popcorn, bad popcorn, cheesy popcorn, popcorn with nothing on it. It's just the ultimate, I don't know, crunchy, snacky comfort food for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
And is there a favorite vacation spot you like to go to?
Last Memorial Day actually, which overlapped with my husband's birthday, we discovered Block Island.
Oh, beautiful.
In Rhode Island, and we can't wait to go back. And we wish we could have gone back this time, but we couldn't. And even though we were only there once, I think it's become a new favorite just because of the setting and how remote it is, yet how many little spots it has to discover. It was just fun and relaxing at the same time, and being surrounded by water. And it was just the most beautiful, relaxing place I had been to in a while.
I love it there.
Yeah, I just can't wait to go back.
Well, that's so beautiful. And then as we do wrap up here, so
Yeah.
share with me, what would be your inspirational words to share with our audience today, that's our listeners today, that you'd like to share with them?
The first ones that come to mind are don't give up. I feel like that's what's driven me, and that's what's pushed me to the next step. That's what's made me calm down when I get anxious that I don't have everything planned out and I can't see the entire map. I just say, don't give up. And then that helps me get to the next step or talk to the next person.
Sure. That's wonderful. That's really great advice. It's also something that's so simple to forget sometimes. And so being able to just sort of go back into your thoughts and say, giving up sometimes is a word of failing, where staying focused on it is actually continues to give you not only the excitement, but also the success. Right?
Right.
Well, this has been so much fun doing this with you.
Thank you.
Melissa.
For me too.
And I am so honored to be able to have this time with you and just to get to know you more each time and hear more things.
Thank you.
So
it's been a great opportunity. Thank you so much for bringing me.
Oh, absolutely. So with that, I just want to say thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us at Conversations with Karen. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.